I'm good. Ready to cast?
Yes,
All
super
right.
excited.
So we have made the 2 waxes last week, and I put them in the oven last night, and we are about to go ahead and cast them into gold. So let's go into the casting room. This is my mold room, where I have molds of all our pieces that we've made. We've probably thrown out over 1,000 molds over the years, but a lot of these pieces are easily reproduced when you inject them with wax. And now here's our casting room. The flask is in here at 1,000 degrees. I don't want to open this long, so I'm just going to show you real quick. So the flask is right there. It's 14 karat. I already cast the 18 karat earlier. So what I'm going to do is, just opening that door for a moment, drop the temperature down 40 degrees. So the hotter the better. So we want it to stay around 1,000. And we've got the gold in here, and this is borax. So I'm going to put a little bit of borax in with the gold, and that'll help the gold flow. So now what we're going to do is we're going to open the door, and I'm going to pour in the gold. Now, when I release it, that's going to release it. Right now, it's holding it down. I put the gold in. Once the gold is melted, which will be in about a minute or two, the temperature is going to go down. As you can see, it's going down because of the gold. Once it turns and starts going back up again, that's when we know it's starting to melt. And we will go ahead and check it. Let me scoot on that side here. So now, the temperature just went on. And this mix the gold a little bit. Coming back up. Somewhere around 1750 is where we want it to be. But we're going to go up even a little bit more than that. This is a JR2 casting unit. I've had it for many, many years. As you can see, the glass is already cracked before. But this is a vacuum casting machine. So I'll turn the vacuum on shortly, and the vacuum is going to draw all the air through the flask so that when I inject the gold will get shot right in and drawn down to the bottom so that the rings are filled completely. Alright, we are getting up there, so let's look. Yep, the gold is melted. If you want, you can open that door and take a look, Ellie, and see that the gold is melted. Look inside. Look, you're going to have to get up and down. So now the gold is melted inside, alright, and we're going to turn on the vacuum. So the vacuum is on. I'm going to put the flask in here. Can you give me that brush, that black brush? Thank you. We want it to be a best seal as possible. I cast it a few minutes ago, so I want to get rid of any little dirt particles. That way we have a good seal for the vacuum. Alright, now. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. I'm going to tip this upside down and drop it in. See the hole? That hole is where the wax was and it dripped out. Now the vacuum is pulling up pressure. And we're going to release the gold. I'm going to pull this handle, the gold's going to shoot in. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. It is. Then inject. Pretty quick. All right. So now we'll close that. And there we go. So that's the button from the gold. We're going to submerge it in water because it's not glowing hot anymore. And what's happening is that the plaster, the investment, is exploding from the heat and the gold inside. But the gold inside has solidified. So we want it to break apart so we can get the gold rings out. See, there's part of the ring right there. The button. I don't normally dump it on the floor, but I'll dump it on the floor. And there's the rings. There's the 2 wedding bands that she carved last week. Look at that, Allison.
All right.
Isn't that nice? So now I can just push this and it's going to come right off. And we'll drop the flask and I'll clean it out later. So we're going to get this plaster off. And then what we'll do is we're going to cut the wedding bands here and then file it, sand it, polish it, and they'll be all done. A little bit of flashing from the investment, but that's something that I'll just polish right off. Alright, so that's where the gold shot in, made the 2 bands. So this gold is good. So we can reuse that gold again the next time we do it. And I just hit abort. Shut the vacuum off. Now I shut the casting machine off, but there is nitrogen that we introduce into the system so that it's an oxygen-free zone. Why you do that is because it gets so hot, all the equipment, the tools, everything would burn up. So when you put nitrogen, and we have a nitrogen tank attached to this, and when the nitrogen goes in, it actually keeps the equipment from burning up so quickly. Think of the shuttle coming back into space, right? Coming back into the atmosphere. Okay.
Someone wants to know how many grams the rings are.
Well, the 2 rings are 10 grams, but the entire amount of gold that we invested was 20 grams. All right, but we'll keep this gold and have the 2 rings, so it'll be 10 grams right there. Now, these were old rings, an old bracelet, and some fresh gold. So we combined it. Came up pretty darn good. So let's go. What do you think, Ellie?
Love it. That's the best part, is when you get to see it in this form.
Yeah, I know. What we could do real quick is just hit it with a little sandpaper and show that it's gold.
Yeah,
You know, because right now it's so unfinished, you can't even tell that it's really gold.
It's better than silver does when it's casted.
Yeah, it sure does.
Silver still looks sort of metally.
Yeah, and black many times.
Yeah.
So we're gonna leave the nitrogen on. And we can go out to my bench. Let's go to my bench. So, I know that you're going to be doing the work on this, but I thought that it would be good if I could cut one of these off.
Sure.
Just to show. And even though this is a setup for wax, I have my gold pan down here, as you can see all the gold dust in here. It's surprising how much gold dust. Watch, look at my fingers, nice and clean. Look at. This is money. So when I say if you are ever become a jeweler and you send this gold dust in to be refined, they send you fresh gold or a check. So it's nice when you need money sometimes to pay taxes. This is always good to have a backup. So right now I'm going to do is I'm going to cut one of these off, and you're going to see what it looks like after I cut it. Now we do have dikes to cut, and dikes we just cut it real quick. But watch this. Oh, the blade broke. Hold on. I gotta get a new blade. You get a lot of movement. That's a lot of times why you use a dike. You can just cut it and it's done. But when you buy saw blades, they come in these scroll. It's a dozen blades, and unfortunately, you probably can go through a dozen blades in a day if you're not careful. Best thing I should have done is put some wax on the blade to help it go smoother through the cutting process. So if you're cutting it, see when I slipped just then, could have broken the blade. Now look at the gold. See how shiny it is, and that's not even polished. When it's polished, it's gonna look really good. We can polish it real fast just to show what it would look like. I haven't sanded it or filed it or anything. That's not working. This will work. You see that? So we're gonna take a file and file it, sand it, polish it, and it'll be a nice, beautiful wedding band. So let's cut the other one off, and we can put these in the acid bath. So the acid bath is gonna get off any corrosion or any imperfections, anything that flux that I put in to help the gold flow could be on the metal. So we actually, there's some here in this black, that's flux. And on the back you can see there's flux. So when I put this in the acid bath, the acid doesn't hurt the metal, but it'll just clean everything up real nice. It's not as strong as car battery acid. It's a very mild acid. It's called pickle. It's a pickling acid that jewelers use every day. All right, so we got that one off. Remember I mentioned this flashing. Let's see if I can get that off real quick.
Can you heat treat gold, or is it so soft that it doesn't matter?
When you say heat treat, I'm not sure I understand what heat treat you mean. So if you made this ring and it wasn't the right size and you needed it to be a little bit bigger, you can actually heat it and soften the gold and stretch it. But if the gold had a hole in the middle to set a stone and you tried to stretch it, it would stretch from its weakest point. So that's where the hole is. So it would destroy the ring. So you can never stretch a designer ring. Only a band that is the same thickness all the way around. It can be stretched or shrunk. So now this is done, and we're gonna put it in a pickle bath. And let me get the pickle. I gotta make up the pickle. So that's it. That was real quick. I know that was a real quick one. If you didn't get a chance to tune in to watch this, you missed it. Because it has to be done at a quick pace because we want the temperature to be exactly the right temperature to cast, and then the flask needs to go in the water soon enough so that the plaster doesn't break apart. Then we have a problem getting the ring out. So it could have even been a little bit hotter when you saw that flask. That white investment, plaster Paris type of material, many times that'll pop completely off. It'll be like a volcano erupting, and what's left is the gold. And remember, when we cast this, we did 2 rings, but it could have easily been 20 or 30 or 50 rings. It just so happens we wanted to use her gold, sentimental-wise, for her friends' kids.
Yep.
And their wedding. So this is going to be something real special. All right, I hope you enjoyed it today, and you can always watch it again. Have a great day.